G'day punters, just another cooking episode. I've got myself a whole brisket here. I got that from Costco down at North Lakes, just north of Brisbane. 6.3 kilos. I'm going to go through, trim off a fair bit of this white fat before I put a rub in it. And I just got a Costco rub that I'll put into it. I'm actually going to cook this in the pizza oven, not tomorrow, but the day after, Australia Day. That's that brisket trimmed. I've taken off a fair bit of that silver skin and just tried to shape it a bit. Plenty of videos on YouTube about trimming brisket, so I'm going to bore you with that. Montreal steak seasoning, again Costco product. It's got lots of stuff in it, I can read it. Salt, pepper, garlic, onion, soybean oil, dill seed, coriander, chili mustard, rosemary, herb extract and some colour. Rub that in and I'm going to let that sit until either tomorrow night or very early the next morning. More of the brisket cook in the pizza oven. I've just put some kindling and stuff in there. I'm going to get that arced up a little bit later. And I've got some chips, hickory and stuff that I got from barbecues galore soaking. I'll pull them out shortly, let them drain off the moisture. Throw them on coals that are already up and arcing, not on coals that are burning. Also bought these from barbecues galore today too. They just say to throw these little briquettes on the grill. This is the baking tray that I'm going to put the brisket on. It's a baking tray that comes out of my oven, and I've just wired on one of the cooling racks, or one of the racks that are inside the oven as well, to the top of that. I'll stick water in the bottom of there. There should be enough air circulating underneath the brisket because of the convection principles of the pizza oven. Those little chips, just got them in a strainer at the moment. Now, I've already seen, put some timber in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to arc this pizza oven up a little bit later. I'll get it up to pizza temperature, which is going to be about 450 degrees centigrade. And then I'll let it cool back down, so I have a lot of residual heat in the bricks and in the dome. At that stage I'll put some briquettes in it. Just I've got these ones over here, heat beads from the Hardwood Lump Charcoal Company, so I'm going to use those. And I found when I was curing the pizza oven, they were pretty good to maintain a consistent temperature for a long period. For the brisket, I want to maintain a consistent temperature, and I'm going to say Fahrenheit. I want to get the oven to about 225 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to be bringing it down a fair bit from the 400 odd degrees centigrade. You can do the maths on that. Once it's to that 225 to 250 degrees Fahrenheit, I'll boil up some water, put it in the bottom of that baking tray, put the brisket on top and throw it in there, and I'll put the lid, close the lid up over the front, and hopefully that'll carry through till tomorrow morning. Well, it's just after 7 PM. Hopefully you can see this. Going to start up the fire. I'll come back here in about an hour, see how it's cranking, eh? It's been about an hour and 20. What I'm looking for is, you can see in the dome there, just around to the left, to the back and to the right, there's still a little bit of black soot there. But up towards the top it's all cleaned off. When you start the fire up, the whole dome blacks off the soot. And when it gets up to temperature, it burns that soot off. So not too much longer, and it'll be really at the temperature I want it to be before I start cooling it back down. Just going to check the floor temperature. It's about 347 degrees centigrade. I'll check the dome temperature. You see that's about 514 degrees. Rightio. So I'm just going to push those coals up to the back now, and I'm going to put some briquettes on. That's the coals pushed up the back, and I put a whole bunch of briquettes along the bottom right, from the right hand side to the left hand side. So I'll come back out in about an hour and check the temperature again. The oven floor was still about 290 degrees centigrade, so I've just moved all the coals out around about, so they'll cool it off a bit faster, I hope. Just got the brisket on the baking tray that I showed you earlier. Got the temperature probe in. Just put in some boiled water in the bottom of the tray into the oven now, and close the door and see how it goes in a couple of hours. Well, that's the meat in. I'll close the door up now and we'll see how we go. Just thought I'd show you the probe. You can see down the bottom there it's showing 45 degrees, that's Fahrenheit. I've got the alarm set at 170, which is where I want to be. So it's about 20 past 1 now. It's 4:30, so the mate's been on for 3 hours. And you can see that 149 degrees Fahrenheit. So meat internal temperature is 167 degrees Fahrenheit. Just check the internal oven temperature is about 104 degrees centigrade, which is fine. It's just over 210, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And the time is about 8:05 AM. Sorry about the noise in the background, that's just the little vacuum cleaner going. Just pull the meat out of the pizza oven, 171 degrees. Smells great. The bark, as the Yanks would call it. Well, you can see that. That's the marinade that I put on it. Feels firm, a little bit wobbly. I'm about to wrap it in foil now. I'm just going to stick it in a conventional oven. 200 and something degrees Fahrenheit. I've set it at 110 degrees centigrade. I'll leave, I'll take the probe out for the time being. So I'll wrap it up, then I'll see the juices running up. Then I'll stick the probe back in and cook it until it reaches about 203 degrees. That juice is just oozing out. Let's get it on that foil. Yummo. You can see up the back end here at the tip, I can see where it sort of opened up between the two muscle groups. There's a whole bunch of fat in there, which we'll have to cut out at some stage. Alright. That's wrapped up pretty well. I'll stick the probe back in. I'm going to stick it back in the tip this time. I had it at the fat part of the flat before. I'm going to stick it in around about here. Just so I can monitor it, and I would say I'm going to stick it in the oven. I'll show you shortly. Rightio, that's in the oven now. I'll just get the probe thermometer hanging up a bit and I'll close the door. That's it, and I'll plug it into my sensor. I don't know if you can see that. It says 180 degrees. That was in 181 degrees Fahrenheit. That was in the part that was closest to the fire. I'll just show you what I did out there. Pizza oven as well. So I didn't show that last night. Oh, I did show pushing the coals and stuff back. You can see the coals right up the back there. So I had the tip close to those coals. Let's check out the temperature. .4 degrees centigrade. It's on the floor, and the dome about 120 odd degrees, so it's maintained its heat pretty well. About 4:30 I stuck on, I think it was about 5 or 6 extra heat beats, so it's done pretty well. The internal temperature of the brisket's about 201 degrees Fahrenheit now, so I'm going to take it out, do the probe test, see how we go. I'll see how it goes through the foil. Oh, that's nice and soft. This is in the thick end too, the point. I don't think we want it any softer than that. So, see, I've got it on a towel at the moment. I want to keep the probe in because I want to monitor the temperature, make sure it doesn't get below 140 degrees Fahrenheit, which happens to be the safe food temperature. Nothing below that. No, I need another towel. That's good enough for me. I'm just going to get my esky. And just the camera for you. Brisket in. Ooh, how about that? A big splash. Crash. Brisket's in there now. Wrapped up. Put the lid on. And now just let it rest. And I'll monitor the temperature. Welcome back, just about to pull the brisket out. It's 160 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's well above safe food temperature. It's now 5:15 p.m. Put it on at in the oven to start off at about 1:15 this morning. So it's quite a while ago. Keep on going. Well, there it is there. That's not looking too bad, is it, really? Bit jiggly. Got to get this up into the cutting board. We get a few people around, they're going to enjoy this hopefully. Oh, it's really soft. So I might bring it around. Let's try and offload it. There we go. Get rid of this foil. Alright, back into it. Sorry about the blue tray, but that's just the way it's going to be. The flat's this side, tips this side, grain runs that way on the flat and that way on the tip. Everything I've watched says cut off the dead bits at the end, overcooked. Will be these. What I'm going to do is go in a bit further. That's looking okay. I'm going to cut these bits up and put them in with the gravy that I've got going at the moment. Continue on carving this. Easier for me the other way around. Put in here. Give it a see where the juices come out. I'm just going to keep on carving this way until we get towards the tip. I'm going to put that on a serving plate that I've got here. I'll cut a piece out and we'll do that bench test. This is a little bit thicker than the last few. Getting into the fat there, so we're getting into the muscle. Alrighty, I'm just going to cut off the tip end, which was closest to the fire last night. I cut that up into pieces and I'll stick it in this bowl over here. This is going to be a bit fatty, I can already see the fat in there. I'd like to cut it out, but it's just not going to happen. Turn it that way. My guess here probably, well, except for probably 2 or 3 people, will probably won't care too much about the fat. When it gets a bit heavy, I'll just cut it out. I picked this up, but I reckon it's just going to fall apart, so I'm not going to do that squeeze test.
Anyway, I took him fine. And his first day on the flight and my first day on the flight.
Oh.
Oh, hello Mark, how
I don't know
are you?
yet. I don't think you flew again on that.
I don't blame
That
him.
operation.
Smells really nice and I'm sure it'll taste nice as well.
It's not even getting outside.
We should go.
Yeah, to go there and eat.
We've just volunteered to taste
You're
it.
coming back to the contract.
Yeah. Are we booked on?
I work pretty standard. And Mike Jeffrey, who's recently died too, I worked with him. He was a real gentleman. He was very much respected.
This is just going to become too hard to cover. It is.